Hey everybody, welcome on back to the channel. Today we've got something a little different, kind of. A pair of front fenders from a early 30s Model A Ford. That is right, something a little different than our complete restorations or collisions or campers. These are a pair of front fenders to my uncle's early 30s Ford Model A project he's been working on for, I want to say, close to 50 years now. His hope is to have it for Back to the 50s at the State Fairgrounds here in Minnesota this year, and he asked if I'd be interested in getting these done the last 10%. Getting them ready for paint. He's already done a ton of fabrication to them over the years. If you know anything about early 30s Model A fenders, these are different. A lot of, like I said, a lot of custom fabrication to get them the way he likes or he wants them to look. And he's done, like I said, tons of the metal work, lots of patching and custom work to reshape these to his vision. And he just liked me to get the last 10% done, like I said. Got some hammer and dolly work to do, get a nice coat of epoxy over the top of it, block it out, prime it, and send them back to him here in pretty short order. I'm not going to go through the whole process because you've seen me do this many other projects in the past, but I've started on this driver's side fender getting a good chunk of the remaining body work done. I hit it with some of our RCM guide coat, blocked that out, and now I'm working on some of the high spots here you can see with the hammer and dolly. And once I do that to both of these fenders, we're going to go ahead and get them an epoxy primer, do a final blocking, and then prime them off and send them back to my uncle. Also, there's something else that I didn't know was coming down. Let me go get that. Got a front part of the grill assembly here also. Do some finishing touches on metalwork. I say up here there's a little rough, so I get this taken care of as well and back to him. Now this is a pretty cool project. Like I say, he's been working on it for many, many years now, and I've seen this thing over my last 40 some years progress. It has a Red Ram Hemi engine in it, I believe. It's been chopped and channeled and sectioned. I believe those are the correct terms. So very, very custom build. I believe the rear end is tubbed as well. Just tons of custom work on it. I can't even go into remembering everything he's done to it over the years. But anyways, I'm just going to start working on these fenders here, and we'll come back and get ready for primer. Now you'll notice I'm going along. I'm not just pounding the crap out of these panels. A lot of light, small taps, work around in the area that I want to level out a little bit. A number of passes over with my hand just to try and make sure I'm getting it smooth. If it does dip down just a hair, that's going to be okay. Because again, these are the high spots because, well, all the primer and filler is gone. So just little by little, we're working these down into being as flat as possible, and if we've got to hit it with a little bit of skim, that's just fine. But we don't want to just crater the heck out of these panels and have to either pound them back up from the bottom or fill them full of filler. That's not what we're trying to do here. So I'm going to keep working through this panel and work through that one, and we'll come back for primer. Alrighty gang, I want to give you a little bit of an update. We've done a lot of work off camera. As you can see from the last shot, we've gotten our first round of blocking done with our glazed. You can see there's still some low spots here, and I'm going to come back and do some more light skim in these areas. We've got some over here as well, up in the front. Just a handful that I want to go over again. And these are what was left after I did the blocking with the 120 grit, with our various sanders. I got soft sanders, I've got some DuraBlocks, I've got a whole pile of different array of sanders, different contours for getting in all the cracks in these fenders, like this guy over here. Got this little purple thing here. Got this red guy here, which has a handful of different contours for getting along this edge down here on the fender, and kind of rolling over this edge here as well. So it is about 50 degrees down here now, too chilly to lay down some more glaze, but hopefully tomorrow during the day, it's 10 o'clock at night for me now. Hopefully tomorrow it'll be warmer in here and I can get some more glaze down. While that's drying, I can get on to our other fender and yeah, make some more progress. Overall, it has come leaps and bounds and looks way better. Little rough spots in here yet I can block out a little bit more. And again, there's going to be some imperfections, minor spots with all these contours down in here, and where the surface mates up to the vehicle. I don't want to put a lot of filler in these areas, because last thing I want to do is bolt it back onto the car, have the metal flex, and have the filler or the glaze, and thus the paint crack. So I'm using this glaze very sparingly, mainly in the bigger areas here where you're going to see any imperfections in the reflection. Over here, under the hood as well, I'm not as concerned. But once this is done with the 120 blocked out, I'm going to go ahead, prime it again, hit it with 220 or 320, and I think at that point, this fender should be done. So that's the process we're going to go and take. Again, you don't want to watch me block sand. I've been down here just this for the last 2.5 hours, and nobody wants to see that. So we'll keep working on this fender, come back when we've got this one ready to go, move over to the other one. Maybe I'll do a short time lapse at like 5,000%, just so you can see, with your eyes versus just imagining how boring this is. But at the end of the day, it does result in a very nice end product, and hopefully when this gets painted, it's going to look great. So again, also you can see there's the white, that was the original primer that it came with, some yellow, so we're burning through a lot of the spots that were issues. And again, take the time, do it right, and hopefully at the end of the day my uncle will be pleased. So for now, it's chilly, I'm going to bed. We'll come back when I get some more skim on this thing, get her blocked out. Well, we are ready to put on some more epoxy primer. I've probably got 30 to 35 hours between the fenders and the front grille. It wasn't rough, but it wasn't that great. There are a lot of weld marks, just dolly and hammer marks that have been there, and I tried to knock a bunch of those down the best I could. Talked to my uncle about it, brought it over there, showed him. He said, this is looking good. Just keep on moving along. It's not going to be perfect, but he's happy with the progress so far. So we're going to go ahead, get these back outside, shoot some epoxy primer on them, and then 2 coats of the high build primer. And then I got to check with him if he wants me to go ahead and scuff them down with some 600 before I bring them back, or if he wants to leave them just the bare primer and sand them down when he gets ready to paint. My thought process is that if it got a little nick or a ding in it somewhere, having it unsanded would be a little more protection than going over everything before it went back to him. So I need to check that out, but for right now, I'm gonna get set up outside, get all these panels prepped, cleaned, blown off, and ready for some primer. Alrighty, we've got our epoxy primer mixed up. Gonna go ahead and shoot it on, and yeah, mask is in the other garage, but painting upwind and there's a breeze, so I'm gonna hold my breath. Alrighty, got a first coat of epoxy on there. Pretty good coverage. Again, we're not redoing everything, just kind of the high spots that I sanded down. There was a couple areas in the corners of the front grille assembly I'm not totally happy with, but I know my expectations may be a little different. So I'm gonna check with my uncle, see what he wants me to do. My desire would be to go ahead and redo them, but I also know he does kind of want to get them back very shortly here. So I'm gonna let this flash off, use up the last ounce and a half in my cup, clean up my paint supplies, and then we'll come back for putting the high build primer on tomorrow, because this stuff is going to sit overnight and bake in the 92-degree shop. Well, we've got our front fenders and our grill assembly over there. We've got probably 30 to 35 hours now in working these out. A couple coats of epoxy primer on, a little bit more skim, back and forth, sand it down, and we're ready to put on a couple of coats of high build primer. I do see one little run, one little sag right here in the front of the driver's side fender. So I'm gonna quick sand that out. Then we're gonna set up our booth, get our 2 coats of high build primer on there, and these are gonna go back to my uncle. I did send him some pictures and he's happy with them via picture, but we'll see in person. The car is gonna go back to the 50s in primer this year, so I said, if there's something you don't like, we can sit down and mark up what areas you want me to rework and go from there. There's a couple areas that I would like to redo just if I had more time, but time is not our friend right now. So these are gonna get, like I said, primed up, sent back to him, and hopefully he'll be happy with them. So let me get this one little sag sanded out. We'll get our booth set up and get our high build primer on there. Well, behind me is a paint booth. So let's go ahead and get that inflated or re-inflated. We had another job anyways. Get it inflated, get our parts inside and get them primed. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and get our paint booth re-inflated, get our parts in here and get them primed up. Let's go. Alrighty, we've got our parts loaded in. We've got our parts cleaned out with spray away. I had a different wax and grease remover I was using. The last job, it left a couple of fish eyes, which I wasn't too happy with, so I've gone back to the tried and true out of a can. Let's grab our gun and move you so you can actually see what I'm doing and get some paint laid down, or primer. All right, my goal is to lay down 2 coats of our 2K high build primer, and then we're done. We got a couple of coats of primer down. Hope you can hear me over the blowers. Let's walk in here real quick and see what it looks like. Lighting isn't the best in here. I've got to improve that, but again, just for primer, Got still a little damp in here, some stripes where it's wet, but overall, I think these are looking pretty good. Yep. Got our front grill assembly here. That also looks a whole lot better than it originally did. So overall, pretty good. So let's step out where it's a little quieter. Huh, not much better out here. Anyways, let's go around the corner. Bad lighting, yep. That's a little better. Anyways, we're gonna wrap this one up. I'm gonna get the panels and fender, whatever the stuff is, 2 fenders and a grill out of the booth. Collapse that up. I'm probably gonna hit the parts with just some 600 very lightly. They are gonna probably, like I said, go on the car to the fair, so I'd like to have them presentable. Knock off any just a little overspray from, I think the lighting in there was horrible, which was weird. For primer, just wasn't very good. It's been fine other times, but this time not so much. Anyways, like I said, I'm gonna clean these up just a little bit with a little scuff, and then send them on their way. So thank you for watching this one. We're gonna get back to other fun car stuff. We're gonna bring the Challenger back out of the corner of the shop, get back to working on that. ASAP, that's the next big thing here, in addition to the other next big thing that is coming. So anyways, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, and we'll see you real soon in the next video. And I've cut off my head. See ya. Well, because I can't leave well enough alone, I went back and I sanded everything here, 2 fenders, 1500, wet or dry. I just get them as clean as I can, knock off any little rough overspray or rough texture for the primer. So these are looking really good now. There's a few spots, like I've said, I probably could have gone back or will go back later, hopefully, and touch up just because they're not to my liking. But at the end of the day, my uncle is on his way down here right now to pick these things up, and we're gonna go. I got the grill insert set in here too. I think that's probably the first time that's been done. I got it in a box still from however many years ago, but it is here ready to go, and hopefully you'll see it back to the 50s this year. See you around.